Hi guys, it's Kelly, Blackheart Prims, and this is going to be a card share, but also just kind of a little, some tips that I learned while doing this card. So basically what I wanted to do was use my distress markers and color the Magnolia Tilda Write a Message stamp. So I purchased some of this watercolor paper from Michael's. Then I tried it, and after everything was said and done, then I discovered there's two different types. Well, there's actually multiple different types, but the two basic types that most crafters use for stamping are either cold pressed or hot pressed. The difference between the two is that cold pressed means the paper actually has a bumpy texture. So what that means is it's going to absorb the water and color more readily, so you don't have as much blending time. What hot press means, it has a more smooth finish, and so the water and the color, it's going to stay on the surface longer, therefore you have a longer blending time. Okay? Then I also discovered this too. I purchased VersaFine and StazOn. Okay? I initially tried it with VersaFine. This is my first try. And as you can see, it was a major epic fail. I used Vintage Photo, and the VersaFine, it bled. I also was using, I think this is Tim Holtz, I don't know, I believe it is the Tim Holtz water brush. And, you know, I had too much water, so it made the ink, you know, really bleed into the hair and everywhere. So it was a huge fail. But, you know, you're learning. So I had stamped it out twice with the VersaFine. Then, you know, I got the hang of this little water pen, you know, and the amount of water on it. And I wasn't displeased with the skin tone result. I wasn't happy with it, but it was my second time, so, you know, I wasn't, like, super sad. But then I tried to use aged mahogany on the cheeks. And I don't know if my aged mahogany in the pen is just a bad pen, or it looked horrible. So I decided to try doing something different. Well, actually, so I stamped it a third time in the VersaFine, and this is what I ended up with. Instead of using the water brush, I used, not this particular paintbrush, but one, the bristles are shorter, but a synthetic paintbrush and water. I found I had more control over the amount of water, and it worked better for me. So you can tell the difference, you know, right there. What I also did, though, instead of using, and I'm just going to show you this for reference, instead of using my distress markers, I used my distress stains, and I had a lot better luck. I noticed with the markers, it's hard to break the line. Now, what I mean by that is, see how dark it is over the edge? That's only one pass of ink. I was having a lot of difficulty trying to spread that ink. Now, I'm thinking, initially I thought it was my pen. You know, maybe my pens were dry. I don't know. But now I'm thinking it's the paper, because this is cold press. So, like I said, it's going to suck up that ink and water, and the blend time is far less than using the hot press. Okay? Am I making sense, guys? So, I did have better luck with the stain, and, you know, maybe that's just because it's more diluted. I don't really know. I did order some hot press, so I'm going to, actually do a show and tell. I'm going to show the process, and we'll just kind of learn together. So, I wasn't really thrilled with this one either. So then I went on to my fourth try, which, this is the finished product. Okay. Now, the difference between all of this, instead of, using the VersaFine, I used the StazOn. And I love the StazOn. I don't like the initial smell. This thing stinks. But I had absolutely no bleeding, whereas, oops, in this one I did. Also, the StazOn, the original stamped image, it's a lot more crisper. So for this particular paper, I'm just going to say the StazOn worked better. And that's pretty much it. So what is it exactly that I'm saying? Well, just be aware that, you know, if you're using cold press paper, just from what I've seen or experienced, the distress markers don't work very well with it. The stains work fine, no problem, but you know, you can see though here around the edge, you can see that line. It's such a thick, grainy grade of paper that it's hard to get a blend. Okay, so I'm hoping that the hot press will eliminate that problem. I'm also saying that the StazOn, for me personally, worked 100% better than the VersaFine. I think I bought them both because I think I was thinking in my head, okay, I'm supposed to use the StazOn for watercolor and the VersaFine for the Gamasol and my colored pencils, my Prisma pencils. I still haven't tried that yet either. So that's all that I'm saying. I'm also saying, if you want to try this, do it. I am totally in love with this process. I am saving so much more ink. I mean, her hair is done strictly with walnut. And what I did do, like just pretend this is the walnut distress pen. So after I finished doing everything, I just took the pen and I used the fine point and I did along her roots, like where I really wanted it to be, give it some depth. The same with the pink around her, all these highlights. The pen worked wonderfully for that. But as far as, being able to really move that ink from the pen, I struggled with it. That's why I really enjoy using the stains. I'll also tell you, her entire skin tone, this is just one pass of vintage photo. I didn't, do several coats of it. I did one coat, let it dry, and just moved on. So again, this is my fourth try. I'm still learning, and practice makes perfect, right? I'm not going to tell you who this card is for. I'm hoping, because the recipient, she is a subscriber to my channel, and I want it to be a surprise for her. So, but I will tell you what I used. I used the corrugated card base, my spellbinders, I think they're like Nestabilities, a couple of those dies, some Wild Orchid Craft flowers. I believe this is like an abalone or opal vintage button. Just some green curly cues, some pearls that I just purchased. I purchased them at Hobby Lobby the other day in pink and black. And here's the black. I got 24 feet for $1. It's regular $1.99, but it's all 50% off right now. So those were the only two colors that I thought I would use. The Live, Laugh, Create sentiment, that's from this new set that I just purchased from My Creative Time. Love these stamps. What else? I used my Winka Stella on the edge of the frame and her bow. It's kind of hard to see in this lighting. And for the very first time, I used the Zing embossing powder. I've never used embossing powder, and I use the Ranger Emboss It, and I love it. I didn't have a problem with it. As you can see, I tried it in red on this, just see how it was going to work, and I love it. So highly recommend dabbling into your embossing powder too. So and I also used from My Creative Time the new teeny weeny bow. I think it's called Fun Size, and that's pretty much it. So, and some lace. This is actually my very first shabby chic, if you will, type card. I really struggled with this because it looked a little too babyish to me, and it's going to an adult. But now that it's totally done, I'm really liking it. So I hope the recipient likes it too. So with that being said, hopefully here in a week I'll have those that other watercolor paper, and I can do a tutorial, just a process video, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I guess that's it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and I'll see you in my next video. All right, everyone. Toodles.